Hey everybody, this is Tony and I'm here today with a special guest, none other than original member Mr. Buddy Wike from the legendary 90s R&B group Intro. How you doing today?
Man, I'm doing good, man. I'm blessed, man.
That's
Staying
right.
alive like the Bee Gees, man. God's good. You.
I know that's right. I know that's right. Now, of course, Intro is one of those groups like, when you think about it, it just takes you back to that time when groups were out, and music was special, especially for the 90s. I always say that. You had a number of groups from the girl groups to the guy groups that were just killing it at that time.
Mhm,
So take me back to when you guys first met each other. How did you even get to meet each other to
mhm.
get to start the group Intro?
Well, I met Kenny Greene when I was in the Army. I was in the Army at Fort Bragg, North Carolina,
Okay.
and had a mutual friend, Kenny Thomas, who said, "Hey, I know this guy named Kenny that know how to sing," and I'm like, "All right." He said, "Yeah, I told him you know how to play the piano because now it's just nothing going on at all." Yeah, I told him you know how to play the piano. So I'm like, "Okay." He said, "Yeah, I think you guys can meet up." So I'm like, "Okay." So he introduces he puts us together, and in the Army it's not too much to do, so you got time to do boring stuff. So I'm like, "Okay, we're gonna go to rec center and see what we come up with." And I mean, literally, as soon as I sat at the piano and started playing, he just started writing lyrics that would just take us for like the next 20 years. He just never stopped
Mm.
writing. He just started writing. And I was like, oh, wow. And at that time, I just thought it was just something for that day. And I remember going back to the barracks and like, that was pretty cool. That'd be cool if we could do that again. Then we went back the next weekend to the rec center, played the piano. He started writing down more songs. And then, you know, ended back to New York from where I was from. They have the studios and stuff. And we ended up coming to New York and started recording, and people would come into our sessions and be like, I think you guys should pursue this professionally. It sounds good. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, your father was a gospel musician.
Yep. My father's a gospel musician.
Okay,
Um, his studio was doper than mine. He has better
okay.
keyboards than I do. He's actually one of the smartest men that I've ever met, man. Like to me, he's like my Steve Jobs, like that
Mm.
first person with computers and all of that stuff. Like yeah, it's just like when I talk about my father, my words get twisted and I seem to talk quicker and lose myself because I know how blessed I am to have them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have so many friends that don't have fathers in their lives and stuff like that. And even though my mom is deceased and she's gone on, I know the importance of having a father, and I still
Yeah.
talk to him every day. And he's dope. Yeah, he's a musician, gospel musician. He taught me how to play the gospel organ and the piano. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So later on down the line, I'm sure a lot of that gospel definitely trickled in into the music that you guys did eventually.
Oh,
Did your father have any, anything to go against what you were doing as far as R&B music since you guys were in gospel before?
he never gave me any resistance as far as doing gospel music. He wasn't that type of guy like, oh, you got to do this type of music, you can't do that type of music. My father's never been like that. He's
Okay.
come to BET when we've had performances at BET. He knows where my heart is at. He knows I'm not out to hurt nobody.
Right,
He
right.
knows, so yeah, he's always supported me 100% in whatever my lyrics were. If it was a song saying I'm a criminal, he knew that I wasn't a criminal, and I was just trying to make music to make people think about stuff like that. Because I did a song called "I'm a Criminal" with J. Rooted Damager,
Uh-huh.
my dude, Terrence Bethune, but because at first I wanted to be a rapper. I didn't know I was going to do R&B music. I had no idea I was going to do R&B music until I met Kenny Greene. I
Mm.
was a rapper and I wanted to be a rap producer. Yep.
Okay, okay.
And
And
so
then I understand that a chance meeting with Heavy D is what ended up leading you guys to basically get a deal with the Untouchables,
yep,
Eddie F. and the Untouchables, and then Atlantic Records, basically.
yep. I spoke
So,
to EF today.
okay, okay. So I'm glad that you guys are still in contact. That's awesome, man. And then people don't even realize too that Kenny Greene, of course, passed away a while ago, but they don't even realize the magnitude that of music that he provided, especially in you guys working as well with Mary J. Blige early on, even before your first album.
Yeah.
Um,
Prior to the intro album, I didn't know intro was gonna be intro. I thought we were gonna come to New York and we would be songwriters and producers for what music was going on at the time. It's like a lot of
mhm,
90s, like New Jack Swing era type of songs, but I
right.
knew we had something to offer that was a little different than the New Jack Swing sound. It was a
Mhm.
combination of hip hop, gospel, and R&B. So yeah, we came to New York and signing with Eddie F and the Untouchables, Heavy D introducing us to Eddie F. And in no time, he had us in the studio with like Jeff Redd, Christopher Williams, Mary J. Blige, the
Mhm.
Winans, Will Smith, Father MC, and then comes intro. Like I didn't know it was gonna be intro to group. Being that we had did all of that stuff, mainly the Father MC record, the Shinehead, If You Try My Love, and the
Mhm.
3 songs that we did with Mary J. Blige. That's what attracted the attention of Atlantic Records to say, well, these guys are making these type of songs. Why are they not an R&B group? And that's how Intro really, really, really became an R&B group signed to Atlantic Records. Like our
Mm.
our our initial our goal wasn't really to be Intro the group. We
Right.
want to come to New York and just share our sound. And
Yeah.
you know,
I
that's
mean,
how
I'm glad you guys definitely did because that first album, was something like it was like something you can't even explain because it was just just pure perfect R&B music that you can really just go back and listen to, years and years and years later, and it's like, wow, it still sounds the same, it still feels the same. You know what I'm saying? Just like uh SWV Week, like you can that's the kind of music you can
yeah,
go back on, you know?
those are our homegirls.
Yeah,
You'll see in the
yeah.
documentary. I don't know if you've seen a snippet from the intro documentary, but I actually dated Coco from
Oh, okay.
SWV, the lead singer. I dated her during the creation of the SWV album and the intro album. So a lot of the material you hear on the intro and the SWV albums, some of it actually has to do with our relationship.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Even
I
though
did
we
not know
never,
that.
even though we never did songs together in the studio,
Right, right.
the lyrics and the vibe is intertwined as far as our relationship.
Yeah. During
Yeah.
that time though, like when you guys were creating, like the first time, was it anybody that you were listening to during that time? Like, cause you were around so much like greatness and music
Mhm.
from Mary J and all these other people, So was it anybody that you were listening to at the time, or were you like shedding out everything to be able to create?
Man, I listened to James Ingram, Anita
Okay, okay.
Baker, Anita Baker, Layla Hathaway,
Oh
and
yeah.
Mission, and
Okay.
that was pretty much my choice right there. Who I was listening to. Everybody else, I'm not gonna say I blocked them out, but I knew what I was listening to in my car on the way to the studio. It was either gonna be Anita Baker, James
Mm-hmm.
Ingram, Commissioned, or Layla Hathaway. Nobody else. That
I
was
mean,
it.
look, there's them some good picks, So Anita Baker alone is a heavy hitter. So you already got it
With
right there.
all my heart, I
That's
love
right.
you, baby. Any song I changed her lyrics around. With all my heart, I love you, buddy.
That's right.
Stay
That's
with
right.
me.
I just talked to matter of fact, I think it was last week, Barry Eastman, the songwriter, and
Okay.
we were talking about Anita Baker's I Apologize. And I was telling him that was one of my favorite songs
Yep.
from her, especially with her voice and that emotion coming out in that song was just like,
Yep. Every piece of it, the music, how it dropped, baby, it
uh-huh.
just took you on a ride. Like I apologize. It just takes you on like a journey. Yeah,
That's
like,
right. That's right.
I apologize. You can listen to it. You could be stuck in the traffic jam, and you won't be mad you in the traffic jam.
Listen, I said the same thing. It's because as soon as the vocals come in, it's over with. As
Yeah.
soon as you come in with that operator, get
Yep.
my baby on the line. That's
Yep.
it. That's it.
Yep.
That's it. It's like what more, what more do you want at this point?
No doubt. No doubt.
It make you want to call somebody and apologize, and you ain't even do
No
nothing.
doubt.
But
Yeah. What am I apologizing for?
yeah, but it just gives you that feeling though. That's how you can tell somebody has actually,
I just I was doing vocals last night, and the engineer was like, "Yo, you need to think about Anita Baker." Like, because I was doing the ad libs on the end of the record. He's like, "You need to think about Anita Baker," and sure
Oh
enough,
man.
I was like, it was on the record. I do believe in love. I
Uh-huh.
do believe in love. I was like, I believe in love. Like, I was like, I gotta think about Anita Baker.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, what I feel till our dreams become real. Nothing to lose, no excuse. Give it up, yeah. I do believe in love. And that was the record from last night. Those were my ad-libs when he told me to think about Anita Baker.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought about. Like, she's so dope. Like, you could put her voice into nothing that she's written before. It's something that you're working on and just touch her tone. I do believe in love. And it'll win. So I
Yeah,
put that
yeah.
on the record. If y'all ever hear the I Do Believe in Love record, then you know that's where the ad-libs came from. I was thinking about Anita Baker. Yeah.
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
the chance of meeting her one time, but thanks to Brian Knight, Midnight, I didn't. We were in Detroit. We're staying in the Anthenium Hotel,
Uh-huh.
and I'm chilling out. I'm playing video games, and I knock on the door, and I open the door. It's Brian McKnight. I was like, "Yo, what's up, Brian?" He's like, "Yo, guess who just left my room?" I'm like, "Who?" He's like, "Anita Baker." I'm like, "What? You're supposed to call me up and tell me to
Exactly.
come down to Anita Baker."
Exactly. Come
Yeah,
on
she
now.
came to meet him for him to write some songs for her or something like that. But I would have loved to meet her. So
Yeah.
yeah, I missed
Yeah.
out on that opportunity.
That's all right. Hopefully you can meet her still, but yeah,
Yeah,
but Anita just has a special, cadence about singing and in her music period. Even on I Ain't No Need to Worry with the wine is like you stepped over to gospel and you still, have this same
yep,
effect. So
same effect.
it's there. It's there. But speaking of
You
legendary
don't
artists,
need to worry, 'cause the night is gonna
there you go. See?
yep,
It'll be all
be
over.
over in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Then the whiners came in the morning, but Anita
Yeah,
kept
yeah.
that off. Yeah, man. I know my
That's one of my
music.
favorites. That's one of my favorites. Because it got her on there. But not only that, I like the Winans too. But that's one of my favorite songs to hear them together, especially
Yeah.
on that track, because it sounds like a gospel, but it got an R&B flavor
You're,
to it.
you reminded me that I want to go back and listen to. I'm going to create a whole new playlist for my car after
Yeah.
talking.
Listen, you
Yeah, man.
got to. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. You got to do it.
Hey,
But speaking of a legendary artist, though, on you guys' first album, you guys cover "Ribbon in the Sky," Stevie Wonder,
mm-hmm.
and you killed it, of course. Um, and I also understand that you guys ended up meeting Stevie Wonder as well. So, what was that like for you coming out the gate?
That was an amazing experience meeting Stevie Wonder. We had been in Los Angeles shooting the video for Ribbon in the Sky. And I actually left the night that we finished filming, and
Mm-hmm.
I came back to New York. And when I got back to New York, my mother was like, Kenny calls you. Kenny called and said, can you give him a call? It's very important. So I called back to the hotel in Los Angeles, and Kenny answered the phone. He said, yo, buddy, man, you shouldn't have went home because Stevie wants to meet us tomorrow. I'm in New York and they're in Los Angeles. So I got on the phone. There was no internet at the time. No
Right.
internet. I got on the phone and I booked the flight back to Los Angeles that night. I got on the plane. I got back in enough time for me to be there and to go to Stevie Wonder's house. And I should have been as tired as ever, but I don't remember being tired. It was just a wonderful day at his house. He invited over Terrence Trent D'Arby and Johnny Gill, and we recorded a song called "I'm the One Who Loves You" that he
Mm-hmm.
released on All Men and Brothers album produced by Eric Clapton. So that whole day was just like a whole like experience that, you know, when people ask me what's one of like the high points of being in the music business, one of my most memorable experiences, it was definitely being at Stevie Wonder's crib, you know, and
Yeah,
doing music
yeah.
with him and watch him walking around with no cane, nobody holding his arm. He just knows where everything is at. He knows where every keyboard is at. He has an air hockey table in his house playing air hockey with us. We're talking
Mm-hmm.
about Snoop Dogg. I'm like, this is Stevie Wonder. So yeah, that was dope, man. So also honor for to be around him. And a lot of people give us credit about the ribbon in the sky things. And one of the things that kind of like, it doesn't bother me, but they be like, oh, yeah, y'all version is this, and that. Our version is only the version that is because of the respect that we have for him. And we knew that we had to turn it up a notch. We knew we
Right.
had to turn it up. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
You can't take over a classic like that and not deliver, you know. So you had to.
Yeah.
But I wonder for you guys, or for you specifically, like during that time, it was a lot going on in the music scene. Like, did you know, or did you even feel the energy and all the greatness that was going on during that time, or did you just like realize it later, like when you look back?
Definitely looking back at it now, I was thinking that, okay, you had your cluster of 90 groups, then you have your cluster of 91, 92, 93. I just
Mm-hmm.
thought it would just continue of R&B groups just coming out over time. I had no idea. Like, honestly, it kind of came to a halt on like 95, 96, to where the genre changed to to I'm not gonna say not that R&B soul, like not that 90s R&B, but like when you got to like 97, 98, like things started changing. You could
Yeah.
tell that after 97, all the music that was coming out, it was just a replication of what was done from like 93 to 95. They was just duplicating it, making it, they was changing the words, same harmonies.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't that core. It wasn't really that core. So when that started happening, I was like, I hope somebody can come with something different. And to be honest with you, until Trap Soul, nobody came with anything different. Until like Bryson Tiller and these young guys, it's like R&B has been duplicated and replicated from off of the sound that we put out from Intro, Mary J. Blige, Father MC, Shinehead, and all that stuff. It wasn't until like I say within the last 3 years that people have started really doing something different with R&B. And I kind of blame that on rap music too, like with Drake, with the singing hooks and stuff like that.
Right,
And
right.
you had Tory Lanez, Bryson Tiller, and all these young geniuses that came out with their genre of music,
Mm-hmm.
which people call it R&B. I respect it as R&B, but I call it trap soul because it's not the strings, it's not the bass lines, it's not the vocal arrangements and stuff like that. It's definitely a different genre of music,
Yeah,
but
definitely.
it's well respected. I love it. You know, I love anything creative, man. It's
That's
gonna be
right.
something past this. Like I feel like trap soul did to us what we did to disco and New Jack Swing.
Yeah, yeah.
So hey, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. You can't. You
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I'm glad you mentioned that because I was just saying that earlier. You know how a lot of the groups started to fade around. You know, after '98, it was like over
yeah,
with, and everybody was really. Don't get me wrong. I know groups have problems and they say, you know what, we're tired, but that's not the only thing that causes you to just jump up and leave. Because at the end of the day, if somebody is if has me to do a job, I'm probably going to do it.
it's,
But it seems like all the groups just got a memo and everybody just said, you know what, it's time to go.
it's the hardest thing in the world is being in a rhythm and blues group.
Mm,
It's the hardest thing in the world, and it's not just because you and your partner don't make it work or the music is falling off and stuff like that. It's just not the chemistry. It's just so hard to deal with. Um, damn. Let me see. How could I put this right? Because I want to say the right thing. Because
yeah, yeah.
right now, people know that that my brand Intro, we're actually going through something at this time right now. We're actually going through a period right now where, you know, it's been like publicly announced that we're going through some turmoil and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you, if we have a concert, my brother will show up and we will be performing and we'll put on like an awesome show. But let me tell you, when you're dealing with R&B group, inside of an R&B group, it's not just the music, it's not just the style, it's the egos, it's what's going on with at home with you and your family. It's like finances, it's like it's just so much stuff. And then when you try to just picture it to be handsome and present it to the world, you know, you gotta get all that stuff out. And you gotta, you know what I'm saying? By the time you do that, the stuff that you go through, it's hard maintaining R&B groups. It's hard. If you have a dope manager, you could probably do it. But I can count on my hand how I know I speak to R&B groups all the time, and how many happy R&B groups I speak to, I can't count on one hand.
Wow.
It's really all business, and it's so sad. Like 2 years ago, I started working on a project. We did a single called You Will Know for the Black Men United album. I got the platinum album back over there. That's the fall one over there.
Yeah. That's the one with everybody was on it, right?
Brian McKnight and D'Angelo, they spearheaded that record. They wrote and produced that record. And I said, well, why don't we're bigger than just a single. Let's do an album.
Okay.
So I started reaching out to artists. I got records from Ruffins. I got records from Shy. I got records from Soul For Real. And as I started reaching deeper into the R&B market, people was like, why you, buddy? Why are you doing it? Well, I'm gonna holler at this person. I'm gonna holler at Brian. I'm gonna holler at D'Angelo. I'm gonna see if they want to do it. Why are you doing it? And then I was like, you know what? The sad shit right here, excuse my language. The sad thing is I'm trying to put together the Black Men United album, and I'm learning how divided we are. It was like a to me. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and fall back, go ahead and focus back on Intro. Black Men United, we're Black Men United. I'm gonna focus on our energy and just keep moving forward. And by doing that, we grab the attention from major film companies. We got in the films that's getting ready to Intro documentary that they filmed for the last 2 years. Warner Music Group, Rhino Records, they're promoting our playlist that's supporting the documentary. So, you know, 2021, even though it's a pandemic and stuff like that, I'm blessed. And I think that, you know, we're going to be in a good spot once the tournament opens up. Tomorrow night, we're going to do a clubhouse called Let's Put This 90s Tour Together. I just got off the phone with a lot of 90s R&B groups, representatives from the groups, where we're going to go on tomorrow night onto a clubhouse and actually entertain the promoters and see who wants to give us offers to put together tours and stuff like that. We're just trying to take it into our own hands. We can't leave it up to the music industry. We can't leave it up to the managers. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it's all about the artists. And I don't really have too many horror stories, but I think we could all be doing better.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a good thing that you are still here to be able to tell the intro story. As you know, you started out with the group. You know,
I've never missed the intro show.
Exactly. Exactly. So I'm glad for that. You know, because sometimes people like to rewrite history. You know, and we've seen that before. And like you said too, a lot of these people and groups. I always see, you know, groups come out and say, "Oh, we don't have the funding," or if it's not that, it's we didn't have the right management, or we didn't have the right label, or we didn't have. But just like you said, when you come to these people with an opportunity, it's like I don't want to set my ego aside to do what's necessary to do what I need to do. You know.
Yeah.
So it's crazy that happens, and then we all on the outside,
somebody to point the finger at.
Yeah, but we don't see that.
Somebody to point the finger at. Yeah, I'm not pointing no fingers. even when I go into the new situations and I speak to the senior vice presidents and stuff like that, I don't deal with A&Rs and nothing like that no more. I feel like I'm above that. Honestly,
Right.
no, I don't feel like I'm above it. If I have to deal with an A&R, let me rephrase myself. I'll deal with an A&R. I've been blessed to not have to deal with A&Rs over the past couple of years because I think that I've established the respect from the senior vice presidents and the presidents of the labels. Like somebody's calling me right now. They're gonna offer us $30,000. You want to hear it?
Oh, okay. Go
Want to
ahead.
hear it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it stopped before I could punch it, but I
Okay,
knew that
okay.
was a call right there. When I looked down, I was like, $30,000 to put together a show. They'll call back. They might call back while we on here or not.
Yeah, yeah.
But I've I think I've established myself to where I've got a level of respect. People in the industry know that I won't screw nobody over. Nobody's ever had to argue with me on the phone. Yeah, I've had to go into offices at times for intros and pull phones out of the wall because I felt like people wasn't working hard. But overall, I've never disrespected anybody. I've never tried to hurt anybody and stuff like that. I am mean. And people will tell you that I was the meanest person in the group. I was the asshole, but I got stuff done, and I'm still respected by everybody. And anybody I think that I've dealt business with would invite me to their house for dinner, and
Okay,
I
okay.
would be able to invite them over to my house for dinner. There's never been no shadiness. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's always been just love and business.
Yeah, yeah. But
Well,
sometimes you have to put your foot down to get things done too. Because if not, we see what happens when you don't. Because, especially back then, labels weren't really, they were like, we can get another one of you. So why do I care about, pushing this group when I have a new one over here, or, whatever the case might be. Because it was in the 90s, it was almost like groups were everywhere at that time. And in fact, some of them started coming up out of nowhere because it seemed like people were just pushing them out because that was the hottest thing at the time.
that's all it was. And they was coming to us to write their hooks, for us to sing their hooks and just have their lead singer on the record. We did it's so many 90s records out there with intro backgrounds on it with just the lead singer of the group. That's retarded. I could go through like 20 records right now from groups that came out in the 90s that were actually intro records.
Wow.
But they just called it, we're gonna label it this and put the lead singer on it, but it's gonna be intro doing the backgrounds. We made a lot of money with that crap, but at the end of the day, it's our sound that I think prevailed. Anybody that goes back and listen to the intro, the first intro album, The Green and the Orange, The Martians, as my daughter calls us, they'll see where we really put our foot down in the early 90s to establish this style of R&B music. It's nothing that we created new. We went back to Anita Baker, James Ingram, Heavy D and the Boys, commissioned. It's nothing that we did that was original. We just came up with a formula that created that 90s R&B sound. And you can ask any of the groups that came out after us, and I don't like naming them because I don't want to put them on the spot, but they know who I'm talking about. Right. And they followed our lead, and being at their label was able to know at that time, they knew at that time that it was going to win. Atlantic didn't know that we were going to win because it was something brand new. Atlantic Records like, what in the hell is this?
Exactly.
Hip hop beat singing on it and talking about coming inside and what is this? We're not gonna ship you guys platinum. We're gonna ship you guys to where you have the potential to be gold. And if after that, we'll go back in and possibly reprint some more records. We went gold in like 1 month and there was no records in the stores.
Wow.
We sold out. Wow. We didn't have the potential to go platinum on the first album because they sold out, because Atlantic didn't know what they had. And then who came behind us? 112, Jagged Edge.
Yep.
Oh, so we're gonna put this sound out, but we're gonna ship it platinum. We're gonna make more money based off of what that was. And that's pretty much happened. That's the truth. No disrespect. But these guys know I speak to them at concerts. I've met all of the 90s R&B groups at concerts, like, yo, we sung y'all demo. When we sung y'all song when we sung for Puffy. Oh, we sung y'all song when we sang for Jermaine. we sung Ribbon in the Sky when we did, and I'm like, it's all good. That's dope. That's dope. I'm just honored. I wish Kenny
Yeah,
was here to see it. Rest in peace,
yeah,
Kenny Greene, man. He was one of the most prolific songwriters of our era and such a good person, man. I wish everybody could have got a chance to meet him. I'm honored to have gotten a chance to meet him, and work with him for the time that I did. And it just totally broke my heart to see him pass at such a young age.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
For you, when the time came, obviously you weren't expecting, like, death to happen. Uh, but how do you, even think about the name intro without thinking about Kenny Greene, right?
I
So
don't, I don't, not for 1 minute.
yeah,
Not for one
so
minute do I think about intro without thinking about Kenny Greene.
yeah, when that situation happened, was it even a like? Did you just have to like go like shut everything down because obviously you guys were working together, but I'm sure you were like more like brothers. But how does that happen and you have to go back to work per se?
Mhm. Well, I didn't go back to work as a musician.
Okay.
When Kenny passed, I didn't go back to work as a musician. I tried to do everything that I could away from music to take my mind off of music because thinking about it was too depressing.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
I became I remember I became a driver for David Letterman. Remember the Late Show, David
Yeah.
Letterman?
Yeah.
I, I ended up hanging out with David Letterman for like 4 years, being his driver,
Wow.
and then it was like um, Fubu was like, we got this. Matter of fact, that was before Kenny passed. This was like in the like after in between the second album up to Kenny's passing.
Mm-hmm.
I had started working for David Letterman, but now, like, cause everything pretty much had died down for intro, coming in from like '97 to 2000, from '97 to 2000,
Right.
we had very few conversations on the phone. I didn't know if he was in Alabama or Detroit. I didn't speak to Jeff. Jeff wasn't speaking to me. I had built a home studio and I got a job like I wasn't touring anymore. So I
Right.
took that job right there. My friend had a transportation company called Attitude New York. So I started working for him. And one of the clients was David Letterman. And I got a chance to put myself in the TV industry, but you know, I'm not embarrassed to say you got to get it how you got to get it, almost
Yeah.
as a
Yeah.
driver. But I'm listening and I'm meeting other people and stuff like that. And it's crazy. I would run into people at times and they'd be like, yo, buddy, what are you doing here? Like, I remember one time I met T. Elliott. She's like, buddy, what are you doing here? I'm like, yo, this what I do. So, but it wasn't until like when Kenny passed, it was it was just I can't say it was total shutdown, but I was so devastated that I knew the potential of the band.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like an athlete. It's like a professional football player. Say like if you um like the top wide receiver and you break your leg, or you know what I'm saying? It's like you know
Yeah.
the potential
Yeah.
of the group, and then like you get that season, that career ending injury. Because Kenny was the head of the group. I wasn't the head of the group. I was the somewhat producer, songwriter, but I wasn't the lead singer of the group. And I was happy not being the lead singer of the group. It was easy for me to go on tour and go on the road and go to the show. And the show is in full production, and I get a chance just to be on stage and look at myself in the jumbotron,
That's
and
right.
I be out there singing all hard, you know what I'm saying, and still walk away with the same amount of money that Kenny would walk away with. So it
Mm-hmm.
was kind of like years and years of just hanging out, really, hanging
Yeah.
out and being able to travel the world. So it wasn't like, one of the things, and this is the first interview that I'm really getting a chance to express this. It wasn't like we had a show on Friday and Kenny died on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
We hadn't performed in years when after Kenny died. When at the time that Kenny passed away,
Yeah.
we hadn't performed on stage in years. So it wasn't like, oh man, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like that was swept under our feet, but him being a brother is what kind of like hurt me more than anything.
Yeah.
Even before he passed away, I kind of knew that we weren't going to be performing any, because prior to him passing away, months before he passed away, maybe a year or two, I kind of knew that unfortunately, unless things changed, he was he was in transition.
Right, right. Okay.
So yeah, man, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I understand. And then those years, matter of fact, too, I understand that you guys had a third album, but you had already left Atlantic.
Yeah.
But it was what, shelved, or you guys just never released it?
We have a suitcase full of music. We have a third, we have a fourth, we have a fifth, a sixth, maybe a sixth album to release on intro with Kenny Greene on the leads.
Mm.
But there's no vehicle that I trust right now. I don't trust streaming. I don't trust, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, unfortunately, I'm holding on to it. If I don't get a chance to put it out, Kenny's family might get a chance to put it out. My kids might get a chance to put it out.
Yeah.
But there has to be a platform that I really, really trust with this product because it's really that good. It's really that good. I feel like it's better than the intro first album. It's definitely better than the intro second album because the second album was just a dedication to Kenny's father. That wasn't really an intro album.
Okay.
It's titled intro, but it was really just dedicated to his father's passing. That's why it sounds more like a gospel album
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
than the first album. It's totally different.
Yeah.
But we have songs like from that first album that just go and go and go. Like we have songs like in that style.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, man.
You guys were definitely and you are still here, but were definitely a major
I
force.
hope so. I hope
And
so. I,
but you guys were definitely a major force. Especially with songwriting and being able to be artists, as well as producing, because a lot of people didn't even know about that stepping into the industry, let alone getting the chance to write on a record. That was theirs. Um, so did you get to see the financial gain from all of that stuff though?
man, I got to check today. When
Okay.
I go to, let me see something. No, I'm serious. It comes, and you never know when it's coming.
Right,
Like
right.
I got hit today for digital royalties. Um, I own the publishing for Come Inside, so that song has kept me alive. Come Inside brought my mother a house,
Wow.
so
Okay.
I really can't relate. Like I just something else just came in. I don't even know where the hell that came from. No, I'm serious. I'm serious.
I believe it. I believe it.
Come Inside, for instance, it's like ah, it's yeah, we're okay. I can't share stories. Like I speak with a lot of artists that came out in our era that were signed to independent labels, like
Right.
that label, that label. I'm not without saying their names, and they say they got jerked, and that person took all of their money.
Mm-hmm.
Intro, we actually was signed to a corporation, Atlantic Records, so they had to pay into our retirement funds, and they had to make sure that we were given the money that we were owed because they were a corporation. They don't want that on them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's not like my homeboy from around the corner who started a record label and then at the end of the day stole all the money from me. Yeah, that never happened to us. So I've been blessed. I'm not bragging, but I was able, like I said, the highlight was being able to buy my mother house. After that happened, I was good. I didn't care if I made another money. I spent half of the day today out on my boat.
Okay.
I
Okay.
can't. I don't have. Yeah, I spent half the day today out on my boat. So
Yeah.
it's like God is good, man.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm glad you don't have that story, because so many people do, especially not
Yeah,
only from the labels but from the managers and people they signed deals with. They didn't know what they was doing.
yeah.
It's a bunch of stuff that could have happened. So
I'm trying to
thankfully,
fix that. I'm trying
yeah.
to fix that for them.
Okay, okay.
Yep.
All right. I'm glad to hear that. But you guys like we talked about earlier, had the two albums on Atlantic.
Mhm.
and then after that, you guys left Atlanta. But do you think they ever really saw the real potential that you guys had? Because it seems like they probably didn't know what they had at the time, and then they might have thought about it.
Well, after the first album, Atlantic, they got rid of our first A&R, Kevin Woolley, and they hired Brian Reed, who was L.A. Reid's younger brother.
Okay.
And when he came to Atlantic, he came with the Braxtons because he
Okay.
was dating Tony Braxton at the time. So he figured he would bring in his girlfriend's group,
Right.
her sisters, and turn them into the group. So he didn't focus on Intro second album. He didn't put any attention. I swear he didn't put any attention on the album. And much respect to Brian Reed as a professional. And I would have probably did the same thing, but that's exactly what happened. He went in there, promoted the Braxtons. He never talked about Intro. It wasn't the same energy behind us that Kevin Sugar Daddy Woolley put behind us, and Eddie F and those guys.
Mm-hmm.
And Atlantic is just Atlantic. They depend on the A&Rs and the promotional people to come into those meetings on Tuesday morning and say who we pushing. And that's who they listen to. If you're going into the meeting on Tuesday morning and not saying Intro, we pushing the Braxtons, then they putting the money behind the Braxtons. They're not putting the money behind the Intro.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was like one of the big mishaps of the music industry, because Intro could have provided so much music to that era. So we have so many more good songs and ideas to share. But I blame that, and without being bitter, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. It happened, and that's not gonna be the end of the story, though. I promise you.
Right.
Because I tell you, when Kenny passed away, I said, "There's no way in hell I'm gonna let the story of Intro be." You heard the North Carolina come out of me just now.
Yeah.
It's no way in hell. I'm from New York City. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, but my family's from North Carolina. And when I get into my feelings, my North Carolina feelings come out. When my New York feelings come out, it's different. So I go to my North Carolina feelings because it's more peaceful.
Right.
So I said, there's no way in hell that the story of Intro is going to be that Intro was done when Kenny Greene died.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. If we put out one more song and it flopped, the story is going to be that Intro put out a song after Kenny Greene passed away and it flopped. But that hasn't been a story. We've been touring worldwide, Europe, London, sold out O2 Arena with H-Town, Horace Brown, these people still getting calls to go out and do countless shows. Mm-hmm. And it's not to take nothing away from the original Intro. It's just to say that the music of Intro was bigger than Kenny, Buddy, and Jeff. It's the brand itself that took off. One day it may be Intro with 3 different members, 3 young guys. I may just hire 3 young guys and put them on salary and just put them on a worldwide tour to do Intro.
Yeah.
So.
But speaking of the legacy of Intro, though, I want to make sure we talk about the documentary. So
let me see if Jason is available to come on with us real quick. Okay. Jason, sorry, bro. Hey, bro, got caught up. Oh, it's his daughter's birthday, so he's not gonna be able to join us. So yeah, man. Let me see. The documentary is. I'm gonna send you the link if you get a chance, so you can watch it tonight. Cool.
Okay, that'll work.
I'm gonna shoot. How can I text you it? Out here on the interview.
Hold on, let me see.
You have Sonia France information?
Yeah.
Okay, so text Sonia France your email, and I'll email you the link to the documentary tonight so that you can watch it before it comes out.
Okay, cool. That'll work. Sounds good. Yeah, I gotta get your number too, so you can send me the stuff.
She will definitely send it to you.
Okay. Yeah.
So we're gonna put on the interview.
All right.
And our phone just like.
All right. Well, let's close out because I know you got to go. But Just let everybody know where they can find you as far as social media and all that kind of stuff, websites, everything.
Buddy Wike, BUDDYWIKE. It'll pop up either Buddy Wike Music, and that's it, or intro, you know.
All right. Sounds good. Well, ladies and gentlemen.
BuddyWhite.com. If you want to order some hats,
Okay.
t-shirts, BuddyWhite.com. Yeah, I'm simple. It's simple like that.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is none other than the legendary Mr. Buddy Wike from Intro, the legendary intro of the 90s R&B scene. Thank you so much for spending your time and telling us about the intro history. And I definitely look forward to doing it again soon. All right.
All right, bro.
All right.